What's going on, guys? This is VinylicPuma, back with another video, and today I would like to declare victory. Now, we'll talk about the title of this video in a little bit, but for right now, I want to focus on what I mean by victory. And that simply is, I finally achieved the dream that I had for my YouTube channel when I started it 5 or 6 years ago. Let me explain. Back in 2014, my dream was to become a Borderlands YouTuber, and given how Total Biscuit was one of the most popular gaming channels at that time, and he was getting about 9 million views per month, I wanted to be able to do that. As I quickly found out, though, things weren't going to be easy, and didn't really work out the way I had anticipated. The fact is, Borderlands 2 at that time was an old game, and many of the people that were present at that game's launch had simply moved on, or if they were still playing, many of them were watching guys that were pretty well established. So I actually considered giving up on YouTube and accepting what was. And that was that I'd never achieve my dream. However, I got really lucky in 2015 with not only the release of the Claptastic Voyage DLC for the pre-sequel, but Fallout 4 also came out, and that's where I really started to take off. By mid-2016, I was covering 2 games at once, and after a minor setback that year, I managed to make it to 2017, where I put out a lot of my best performing videos on the channel. Whether it be the bosses videos I did for Borderlands, the Puma Theories videos I was doing for Fallout, or even some of the countdown videos I still do to this day, I was pretty happy with the channel and where it was going. I had some setbacks along the way, and I tried to forget the debacle that was Fallout 76 in 2018, but largely, I've been able to preside over a pretty stable YouTube channel over these past couple years. And of course, when Borderlands 3 got announced, I somehow managed to break that ever-elusive 8 to 9 million views per month barrier twice. And though I wish I was able to stay there longer like many other creators have, it is a height that most people never accomplish on YouTube and took me years to accomplish. So going back to what I said at the beginning of this video and talking about victory, in a way, I have now achieved what I originally sought out to do here on YouTube. I became one of the biggest Borderlands YouTubers, I had a lot of success with Fallout, and like some of the bigger gaming channels when I started, I managed to hit that magical 9 million views per month barrier that I had always dreamed of. Sure, and I guess in the grander scheme of things, 9 million views is nothing compared to what you see a lot of the really big YouTubers getting now, but for me, I'm happy I did it. Even though I wish I could have broken that barrier 2, 3, or more times over and sustained it for multiple consecutive years, and who knows, maybe I'll eventually do that someday, but in the here and now, I can finally say that I made that initial dream I had all those years ago come true. I became one of the biggest Borderlands 2 YouTubers, and that's kinda cool considering where I started and what my situation was. Fast forward to today, however, and well, you've seen the title for this video. Perhaps I could have been more creative, clickbaity, or what have you, but being as I am personally more direct and I don't really know to some extent what the future holds for me, I felt it made the most sense to title this video what I titled it. And in this video, I figured I would just talk about and explain where I've been these past 2 weeks, why I haven't been uploading as much, and why I'm making this video today. Hiatus is in the title for a reason, and I do feel I owe you all an explanation. The fact is, and without going into too much detail about my personal life, I've entered into a relatively chaotic period, and there's been a lot of craziness as a result. It's been a combination of enlightening, terrifying, and exhausting, as it's brought about a lot of uncertainty and has resulted in some stress. It's also made me come to a few realizations, and I've concluded that the foundation for my life has been flawed for quite some time. For those of you that have started or currently operate your own business, I've been in a state of, or perhaps more accurately, a mentality of sprint for the last 3 to 4 years. As an example, if I had to stay up all night and into the next day to complete a video, I would do it, and as some of you may or may not know, over the long term, that's not sustainable. Not only is it pretty bad for your health, but because I've been doing this and because I've been so focused on just trying to get videos out, I often put a lot of important things off. In fact, I had the brakes on my car fail, and I let that car sit for the last year and a half while I used a family member's only car, which wasn't really fair to them. Fortunately, I've gotten that situation mostly resolved and I'm not borrowing that car anymore, though there are a bunch of things I still need to take care of, and it's possible that it may be a while before things are back to normal or back to better than normal. On top of my issues with Sprint, I've also been encountering what seems like endless distractions, which have extended the amount of time it would normally take for me to make a video. Where I used to be able to make a video in either a day or two, recently it sometimes has taken me 3, 4, and even 5 days to make that same video. A lot of it comes down to some self-inflicted distractions as well as some external ones that I have varying degrees of control over. If you want to take the maximum responsibility viewpoint, I think it's definitely fair to say that most, if not all, of these distractions could have been avoided. Though what I will say is that there are often unforeseen challenges that result from working from home, especially when family gets involved, as I've often found myself in situations where I get pulled away from working, and it's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts. One distraction leads to another, which can then lead to procrastination and more distraction, and it becomes a vicious cycle. Maybe some of you guys can relate, but if you can't, that's okay. And then there's the final thing, which I'm sort of hesitant to discuss because it is embarrassing, but I felt like for a while now that I haven't really been chasing anything. Going back to the beginning of this video where I told you all about my initial goal here on YouTube, I had a desire to become a Borderlands 2 YouTuber, and when I achieved that with some level of success a few years back, I didn't really think about what comes next. It's kind of like where you accomplish something and then you don't really know what you should do with yourself after that. In a way, it's kind of a funny situation since you've technically made it, but now you've got a new problem you've got to figure out. And I suppose in that very moment, that's when you start chasing something else, and I don't really feel like I've made that transition yet. Either because of some of my aforementioned issues we just discussed, or because I've never really taken the time to really think about it. And perhaps in some way, I'm getting that opportunity now. Ultimately, though, with all of the craziness and chaos that's been happening to me lately, that's a big reason why I've slowed down my uploads in both the past 2 weeks and really even before that. Knowing what I know now, I have a feeling that it's still going to be a while until I get all of this sorted out, and as a result, I'm going on a hiatus, or perhaps more accurately, a partial hiatus. Now, unlike a true hiatus, I'm not going to totally go away for an extended period of time. You will see more videos from me, though my attention may be more divided than usual. What I will say is that I plan on at least having one Borderlands video out next week, and as far as the new DLC goes, I do plan on making some new stuff for that as well. As far as what I will make, you'll just have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward to the new DLC. Especially since Guardian ranks seem to be finally working again, and that makes Mayhem 4 a little bit easier. In the meantime, though, I'd like to thank you guys for being patient with me. While there's a lot of craziness that's been going on over these past few months, and especially during these past few weeks, it's also been a heck of a year at the same time. As I said at the beginning, I'm happy I finally hit that magical number that I always dreamed of, and who knows, maybe I'll hit it again someday. But until next time, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. Thank you all so much for your support. Be sure to smash like, click the bell, do what you gotta do, and as always, and again, thank you all so much for supporting this channel. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.